Hello, I am Bentham and welcome to Cosmoteer. As you can probably guess, this is a game about building and battling starships, and here we have a couple that I've just spawned into being that are annihilating each other. This one's significantly better, I'd say. Very good beam things going on here. So yeah, that's what the game's about. This is just a bit of a sandbox that I thought I'd start with to show you what sort of thing is possible in this game. But we'll be playing today the sort of campaignish mode. At the moment it's not really a proper campaign, it's just it's called Bounty Hunter, and it's about blowing other ships up with your ship, which is basically all you want. But yes, the game is currently free. Surprisingly enough, it's quite well put together. Like, a lot of work has gone into it by I think the one guy who's worked on it, but at the moment it's actually just available entirely for free. I've come to the conclusion that he's actually just insane. That's the only explanation as to why you can just play this right now. I'll put the link in the description, of course. But anyway, let us get on with the thing. I think he's won. He's definitely won. The Cosmoteer ship's not doing anything. That's just sat there being cool. Yeah, wow, this is it. Like, considering the size, this one it shows that building the ships well is important. This one is clearly better built than that one. All right. Anyway, we will go to. I'll show you the main menu for a moment. There we go. Here it is. There's the ship again. No music at the moment. That does show that it's still being worked on. It's still in the process of being developed. I guess the guy who's making it doesn't do music himself, so at some point he'll get someone else to do it. But there you go. And from here we can start a new game. And the two modes are creative, which is what you saw there. We can spawn on a bunch of random pre-made ships and have them annihilate each other, or make your own if you feel like it. And then we'll play Bounty Hunter. This has a tutorial built into it, but I've already gone through that, so that's switched off. Usually a bunch of stuff would come up here and you can work through it. It teaches you. It's very well made. Everything about this is very well put together. The guys really put some effort into it. But anyway, here's our ship. Significantly more modest than the ones that we've just seen, but it will grow over time. Let's switch this here, and now we can see the inside of the ship. And as you can see, it's all sort of modular stuff. Lots of little rooms that you connect together to make a ship. And so basic stuff we've got here is we've got guns on the front, these things, so you got the internal bits where there's people, and then the guns on the outside. You got some engines here facing in all different directions, because of course that's important to make sure you can maneuver properly. We've got a reactor here which generates power cells. We've got some crew quarters, there's the bridge, and corridors, and oh, there's a fire extinguisher, very important. Always remember to put those on, or your ship will at some point just completely be destroyed by fire. You end up with a loss of explosions and horrific death if you forget to actually put out fires. But we'll start, we'll not mess with it yet, but of course we will start to tinker with it as we go. But we'll start by just going and attacking the nearest enemy. So there's a mini-map down here in the current sector we're in, and we can just set a course of one of these guys here. They're all bad guys, probably, or maybe we're the bad guy. I mean, it's called Bounty Hunter, so I guess we are the Bounty Hunter. And they have bounties on them, so clearly they've done something bad in at least somebody's eyes, and they deserve to be murdered. So here's this guy, Fanged Fighter, and yeah, so we don't fly the ships ourselves. What we do is we direct them to go places. So I've sent him to kill this ship here. I can target specific things, so I can tell him to specifically blow up the guns. That's probably for the best. And then we'll finish by shooting the reactor. He's now no harm to us. But, you know, we've got to finish the job. The bounty said it specified dead. You know, none of this alive or dead rubbish. You got to kill him. That's what it said. Did we lose anything? I think we did. We have taken some damage. But yeah, there you go. If you shoot the reactor, it's quite violent. It all blows up. And you get your bounty. So now we can work on fixing our ship because it is a little bit damaged. So we'll go to the repairs. We've taken, 4,000 credits worth of damage. I hope the bounty was more than 4,000. But we can just click that and repair everything that we lost. And then we can go into build mode, where we can start messing around with how our ship is built. So a couple of interesting things about how these ships actually function is that all of the different the thrusters and the weapons and things like that, they require power cells to operate. It's not just simply a case that you have a generator somewhere on your ship and then everything is powered. The power cells have to be delivered by hand from the generator to the various components. Not a very efficient system, gotta say. They should really come up with some sort of better thing about that, but it's what we've got to work with. So these are our people. We need those to ferry the actual materials around. So in fact, we'll hop out of the building for a second, and then we'll just tell the ship to fly around a bit. And what you'll see is that people start grabbing power cells from the the reactor and carrying it over to the various things. So these little things here, 2 power cells, 2 here, 1 there, so the smaller ones don't have so much capacity. And then here we've got the 2 power bars for the weapons. And so you've got to make sure that you design it so that you can get the power cells to all the different components, as well as have everything be manned. So you've got to worry about having enough people, having enough generators, and having it arranged nicely. And also not making sure that your generators are too close to the surface of your ship so they could get actually blown up and then cause catastrophic damage. So let's do some redesigning. I mean, the first thing to do, it's pretty much told you to do it. There's a gap here where there should be a gun. Let's put a gun in it. There we go. Could have got mirror mode on just because it's nice. So at the moment, this is not very symmetrical. We might do a bit of rearranging to that, depending on what we have that we can do. We've got a fair bit of money available. I think this ship cost about... Well, actually, I think it might... It shows its value somewhere, but it doesn't show it here. We hop out. There we go. So the value of this ship, based on all the components it contains, is just under 60,000. So we can make it 50% better, debatably, with the money that we have available. So I'm thinking we just expand things out a bit. So I've got some corridor here. We can... Problem is, with the mirror mode and things not currently being symmetrical, it's a bit awkward. We can build that out. What we can do is we can move the bridge like so, put it in the middle, make things a bit neater. However, you got to worry about doors. The bridge, because of how it's constructed, you can't have any doors on the front sections, only on the back. So as it is, people can't get to the front of the ship, but you can, I believe, build some doors here. So that's not brilliant, because the more doors people have to get through, the slower they walk and the longer it takes them to get where they're going. But it's okay. It'll do. Let's see. What we can do is we can move this to here. Put the mirror mode back on actually, and just have 2 of these. Have plenty of crew, more than enough. It shows us here some little stats about crew and power. Basically, the minimum amount you need for everything to operate at all, and then the recommended amount to make things operate smoothly. But you can go beyond that if you like, just to make sure that you've you know, it's better to have more than you need than less, because you might end up running out of power, or end up with things not being manned in the middle of fights, and that would be bad. We can, I think, get rid of that without too much trouble. Left a hole in the ship, we'll put some corridor in there. I did just get rid of the fire extinguisher. What we'll do is we'll move this to the middle. Maybe move it forward a bit. Now we'll leave it like that, and then do some stuff with armor. We can put some armor on here to better protect our important gubbins. We shouldn't really need it on the back, because we should usually be facing the enemy, but let's be safe and add some more there. Here we'll make this more solid, I think. Though we do need somewhere to put fire extinguishers, so what we'll do is we'll nestle them in here. And really we don't need some armor there, because it's not like the enemy's going to manage to shoot that spot. But you never know. Let's get some more corridor or something around here. In fact, in that case we'll move... Oops. Oh, that's the door. I don't want to move the door. I want to move the room. There we go. That's looking a lot neater, a lot more symmetrical, and it's got slightly more ability to blow up the enemy than before, and we can build more stuff. We do have more money for it. We could even try building a shield generator. That's maybe a bit of a stretch at this stage. Bit of an expensive thing. We can afford it, but then making things be arranged nicely might be more awkward. But yeah, there is something interesting I spotted about this game, something that caught my interest, I mean, everything else already caught my interest, but this just added to it. You have moving walkways. Basically, conveyor belts. Conveyor belts on spaceships. I mean, what's not to love? And so you can use those, you can put them in corridors so that people can move quicker from A to B, because the movement of the people affects how quickly your weapons and engines can operate. I think they are the main limiting factor, really. If you can manage to get it so that power can be delivered very, very rapidly to your weaponry, then that is how you make it fire quicker. It's not a case of them having really limiting fire rates. So that's quite a cool thing. Before we do much more in the way of expansion, let's just go and kill somebody else. Get some more bounty so we've got more money to work with. This guy has been chosen out of the 2 that we have remaining. Just fly over there. Engines are not the best, could upgrade them. We're on the move now though, so let's not do that, because time carries on ticking while you go into the build menu if you don't also pause. And so if you're not paying attention, you might suddenly find yourself in a fight while you're in the middle of doing some redesigning. We'll make our way down to this guy. We can fast forward. There's lots of fast forward options, up to 4 times speed and down to a quarter speed, so you can get real cool slow-mo combat going. Here we go. Let's see what we're dealing with. This is called a Y-Scout. Let's pause and see what we've got. reactor right there. A little bit vulnerable, does have some armor there. Weaponry here. That one seems to be shut down as far as I can tell. Let's target this one and get that out of the way. Always good to get rid of the weapons before they can do too much damage to you. And we'll take out the other one as well. And then we're completely safe to finish off the ship by blowing up the reactor. And it's right in the middle, so it should basically destroy everything. Sorted. Couple of bits left. You can shoot these if you like, but they don't do anything. Alright, now we've got quite a lot more money. Let's just finish off the last guy. I reckon we can. We'll probably be fine. Go to quadruple speed until we can get over to him. Back down to normal. This is called Hook. Very weird looking one. Oh, it's got quite a nasty looking cannon on the front there. Let's make sure to definitely target that first. And also, it seems like we're flying around the side, which we don't want. So I'll show you another feature that we have. We can't just, it's not just a case of telling the ship what ships to fight and also what bits on what ships to fight. If you drag, then you can actually choose the angle of attack that the ship will follow. So we can specify an angle of attack over here, and the ship will do its best to get into that position. Though apparently that ship's helping us by turning around. So you can do that to try and outmaneuver them. Unfortunately, they are... Well, for a moment they were sort of outmaneuvering us as well, but now we've managed to get exactly where we want to be. But now the thing we were blowing up has already been blown up. Where's the reactor hiding? Oh, it's over there. In that case, we'll want an attack angle of something like this. Get right up close and personal, because they've got no weaponry left to bother us with. Just try and swing around there. Oh, you see, we're getting power issues there because our reactor is too far away from our weaponry. But there we go. And we blew up the important bits. The rest doesn't matter. The people are still in there and everything. Poor guys. I don't know. I wonder if we should put them out of their misery or something. They're just going to be drifting forever until they're maybe rescued. Oh, there goes an autosave. Does that fairly frequently because things can go south very quickly for your ship, and you better hope you've got a save when that happens, because you can lose a lot of progress if you... Well, you can't lose a lot of progress because of the autosaving, but yeah. Sometimes you'll think your ship's doing great, and then suddenly it'll meet its match and just get absolutely annihilated by something. Yeah, weaponry is doing a terrible job of staying charged. It keeps completely running out of power and having to wait for people to deliver to it. And that is the main issue with keeping your weapons running in this game. So that's quite interesting. A bit different from the usual kind of thing. A lot more focus on managing power and corridors and crew members than usual. So yeah, these doors and everything are just making a terrible job for them. Alright, so that is that done. We've killed what little remains and put those guys out of the misery. A little bit of repair work to do, not much. Then we come back into this menu. And what I'll do is I'm going to build a new reactor, just plonk it right there. Right next to all the weaponry. Best place for it to be to get them all supplied. But I will be a little bit vulnerable, because if the enemy manages to blast through these weapons and then hit this reactor, that's a hell of an explosion I'm going to deal with. And it's the front they're going to be targeting, so we might see about putting some shields in. But I don't know if we really have the money for it, because we have killed all the enemies in this sector now, and so you need to leave this sector, and you do that using, let me find it, the FTL drive, and that's expensive, so we're just going to, definitely not mirror mode, we cannot afford 2 of these. Just going to plonk this here for now. It's a bit slapdash, we'll work something better out later. In fact, we could just remove this for now. Yeah, we'll just plonk it there instead, and we still have a little bit less than the recommended, but more than the minimum amount of power. Excuse me, more than the minimum amount of power. But yes, we now... Well, we've still got a fair bit of money because we got rid of the reactor. Reactors are more expensive than FTL drives. They are very steep. So yeah, shield generator, we could build like 2 of them here or something. It would be very expensive, but if we did that, then we'd be much safer at the front, and we'd not get immediately destroyed as soon as someone started shooting at us, which would be bad. Now, however, we're really bad in terms of power and crew, so let's try and fix that. Go out of mirror mode. I'm going to shift this off to the side, and then I will put a reactor here. That fixes the power issues, but we also need more crew. The thing is that this is the cost of the actual bunk spaces and the quarters and stuff, but also there's the cost of hiring crew, which is significantly more expensive. So actually, we can't even build 1 of these and hire the necessary crew. It won't work, so that's awkward. We are quite short on crew at the moment. For now, I will build these here. And so we have the crew capacity. It's just going to be a while before we can afford the crew. In the meantime, let's jump. We'll go back out of this menu, and then we can go to the overview screen and take a look at everything. So, got this whole massive, like, set of star systems here. Quite a lot of them in this one. think the practice game I did had like 5 of these, not 7. But yeah, here we are in orbit. We're in space near some random moon of a gas giant, looks like. Has a couple other moons as well. You can see there's people around all of these, and they have different difficulty levels, and so we'll go for the easiest one first. At Alpha Mnasio 8. Don't know where the other 7 of them are. There are 4 enemies at the amateur level. It'll take 7 fuel to jump. Piece of cake. We get fuel, I think, when we blow up enemies, so we'll be able to replenish that as we go. And now what'll happen is we'll have our crew deliver some fuel cells into the FTL drive, which will take a little bit of time. And once it's ready, we can engage and make our way to our new location. And here we are at Alpha Mnasio 8. And let's go for this guy over here, because he's far away from anyone else and we can't get interrupted while we're killing him, hopefully. Quite a way away, so we'll speed up. Get a nice little view in the corner here of our ship. We can even... Oop, still double speed there. We can even mess with the size of this if we feel like. Oh, now it's actually showing us the enemy ship, of course. It's clever like that. Sometimes it'll show us our ship, sometimes the enemy one. This is the Argonaut. And it's got a fair bit of weaponry. We'll target the big cannon in the middle first, get that out of the way. We'll just attack them head on, probably for the best. We have a lot of shielding and they don't, so we should fare a lot better than them. And as long as they can't outmaneuver us, we will definitely be fine, I should think, unless they can suddenly do huge amounts of damage to the shields we have. I've sort of rushed to shields, because I think usually you're supposed to get them a little bit later on, but they're really useful, because it means you don't take damage, which means you can spend more money on building up your ship instead of repairing it. So there we go, that's dealt with, and a little bit more in the way of fun. So now what we can do is hire the remaining crew that we have capacity for. Let's have a quick check of the menu. We're still at the recommended amount, but I think a lot of that recommendation, actually probably a lot of it is based on the shield, so we do need them really. We're a little bit short, so we may struggle a little bit in terms of energy for weapons at the moment, but it shouldn't be a huge problem. Let's make our way over to our next enemy. Currently we've just called this the Model 1. I'm not particularly bothered about naming it. If anyone has an idea about a fancy name that they would like to give it, you can say so in the comments. If there's any cool ones, then I'll give it that name. Why not? What are we dealing with over here? There's a lot of sort of pre-made ships that you battle here. Quite a large variety of them, though. Always new ones to fight, especially as you progress through the levels. Okay, this guy's really bristling with guns. Huge cannon on the front here to worry about, so we'll definitely target that. We might want to attack from just a little bit of an angle to, whoops, I messed that up. A little bit of an angle to make sure that we aren't in range of both of those side cannons. That would be unnecessary. Also, what you can do, I believe you hold down shift, then you can choose the rotation of your ship when you're attacking, so I can decide to, like, point it that way a bit more if I'm trying to, like, keep up with it as it flies backwards or something like that. Let's see how it fares. This guy's going all over the place. He's not got much in the way of engines, really. Not very good for him. Yeah, we want to be far away because usually these projectile weapons are fairly inaccurate. Yeah, they're very slow, so the further away you are, the more likely you will be able to not get hit by them. There's the big cannon gone, so the rest of it should be fairly easy at this point. You know what? I'm just going to let them do what they want to do, because having only one of the cannons shooting at me is exactly what I like. And it seems like this guy's happy with it too. There we go. We can... You know what? Let's just take out the... actually, he's now facing the wrong way. We'll finish off the cannon. And then we can... there we go. He's kindly spun around for us, so we can target the reactor and finish him off. There we go. But yeah, that's always the weak point. You always want to have yours well hidden, because as soon as you hit those, that's a lot of explosions. There we go. A little bit of damage there. They managed to get a shot on our engines. I guess they could very easily, without much of an angle, get a shot on us. And also they can sort of, it's almost like they can curve the shots, except not really. It's more that the ships are moving around the shot, so they could fire, and then I slide into where it is, and it ends up going around my shield, stuff like that. There's clever things you can do, I guess, that I will probably be no good at. Let's do a bit of upgrading to our engines, seeing as we have a little bit of money to spare. Might as well improve our maneuvering capabilities. Also, perhaps we should have a little bit of armor on the side of our shield generators. Unfortunately, you need clear space around your thrusters, so I can't quite put the put some proper protection around there, but I guess I could go to armor. A couple of little wedges there to catch a couple of stray shots that might otherwise hit us. Always a good idea. We can actually sink these in a lot because there's a lot of open space in front that could be filled by bits of the ship. Let's upgrade our crew capacity a bit more. We could do with some more. We can do that. They can move through those fine. Also, we want to pay attention to our door situation, make sure that that all makes sense and that the doors are well positioned to help people get to places. So, for example, we want to have some doors right here so that people can get through to the front of the ship more quickly. Still, this is not very well arranged. I need more corridors. I should probably do a little bit of an overhaul, but let's finish killing the ships in this particular sector first, I think. Also, we'll make the armor on the sides a little bit more bulky. It shouldn't be very easy for the enemy to outmaneuver us because we've got a decent amount of engine stuff, but it's always good to be safe. Better safe than sorry, of course. There we go. Actually, what we can do, we've got loads of medium engines here, we can actually just put some large engines in instead, and I think that just makes more sense. Let them get those built, and then we'll hop back out of this, and we'll go deal with this guy up here. We'll finish this sector, do a bit of overhauling, and then I think we'll finish for today. Yeah, very cool game. I really like it. I've been messing around in it for a while. You know, I always like to do like practice sessions of a game before I start recording it, just to make sure I know what's going on. And, you know, sometimes those end up running on a very long time, and this is one of those cases where I just sort of kept playing instead of starting to record. Always a good sign that it's going to continue to be enjoyable for a while. Here we go, it's one of these guys again. We'll target their big cannons so we can sort that out. Interesting thing about the cannons, the different kinds of weapons have very different kinds of requirements. So the NG weapons, they need reactors, as do like a lot of other things like engines and FTL drives and the bridge and things. But the cannons, they require ammo, which is made in ammo factories and can also be stored in ammo storage. And then there are also missile launchers, which require missile components, which are made in missile factories and stored in missile storage. So you sort of probably want to specialize in different kinds of weaponry, seeing as it's a lot of work to set up any one kind of weapon. Wow, we managed to blow up everything in this ship apart from the reactor there. But there we go, and we can move on to this guy. No damage was taken. I love shields. They're the best. They're always awesome. In every game they're in, they always make things so much easier, because it means that when when you are better than an enemy, the shields just mean that they won't still manage to get a couple hits on you and cause you some trouble before you kill them. I think it's another one of the same. Let's, there we go. Click on him and target that. Also what you can do is select them all, and then you focus on the average point of them, which is very nice for multi-ship battles. Keeping an eye on all the ships that are involved. We're dealing with them very easily. Let's specifically target the reactor to get that done with. And there we go. Target defeated, even more money. Let's do some redesigning. We need to add some corridors. Things are too cramped right now. So let's shift these out. And also these. Basically just make some space for people to work in. Move these out perhaps. We can do that a bit more. Whoops. There we go. As far as I can tell, you don't ever lose money from deconstructing things. It's not one of those things where every time you sell something, you don't get back all the money that you spent on it, which is lovely, because it means that you can happily experiment and move things around and not worry about accidentally losing a load of money because you built something slightly wrong. Let's add a little bit more armor to the side of these. Actually, I forgot we could do this and protect them a little bit better. Power and crew is all fine. As the ship gets bigger, you need more FTL drive compartments to have proper, have full efficiency. So at the moment, our FTL drive is at 86% efficiency as we start to go over the size limit of one drive. So eventually we'll build a second one to counteract that, because as it reduces efficiency, you need more FTL fuel to jump from one place to the next. As it is, you earn plenty, but you might start to struggle if you have very large ships to support, or multiple ships to support, because you can absolutely build more than one. Instead of putting this money into making this ship better, I could just build another smaller ship to work alongside this one, and you can do all sorts of fancy flanking maneuvers and things like that. It means that outmaneuvering is a lot easier because the enemy can't just spin to avoid you. You can just have your ships attack from either side, and so it has to show its weak side to one of them, and cool stuff like that. It has to make its choice, and then things are a little bit easier for you. But yeah, we've got some corridors around here now, so it should be a lot easier for people to move around, because moving through doors always takes longer. There are too many doors here. We're wasting money on dozens of doors. We do not need that many. We can get rid of this as well, I think, and just... I mean, for the purposes of symmetry, we'll have another door there. And that's fairly well arranged. People only really need one way out of the crew compartments, unless they are also access ways for other places. Don't need two doors going into this. Let's get rid of that one as well. Also, what I'll do is I'll clear these away and I'll put them here instead, so you can go straight out and along the corridor. Things like that. You've got to consider these things. People need to get from A to B as quick as possible. It is very important. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this design as it currently stands, but we do have some more money to spend, so we should really upgrade it a little bit. There are some fancier weapons we can get. You know what? Let's just go crazy. After this is auto-saved, I'm going to build this thing. This is the basic, like, this is the top tier energy weapon, basically. There's three different ones. The basic lasers we've been using so far. Electro bolts, which is specifically stun things, so they don't do much damage, but they knock out systems that they hit. And then the ion beam. You know what, let's demonstrate that. We're still doing okay in power and stuff. We'll not do any more upgrades for now, because I just want to show off how this works before we finish the episode. So what we will do is we will make a jump to the next location. Oh, there's not very many nice locations to jump to right now. Is there any ones nearby? Not really. There's some a bit far away, but they use more FTL fuel the further you have to go. So let's try this one. I reckon we'll be alright. The ones we were fighting in this sector were a piece of cake to deal with. So we'll go for this one. This is Quisco, the gas giant that we're around at the moment. We'll wait for the drive to be charged. Why are they delivering from that one? They should go from that one, really. I should put a door there to make it a lot easier for them to charge it. Then again, charging the FTL drive is never that important. It doesn't need to be done quickly, because you're usually safe while it happens. Though you could use it to jump out of dangerous situations, I suppose. That could work. I don't know if the system's really meant for that. Maybe you're not allowed to jump while in combat. But anyway, let's make the jump, and we'll show off this crazy ion beam thing that we've gone and acquired on the front of our ship. There's an enemy over here, let's go for him. And we'll fast forward to get there nice and quick. Here he is, and we'll pause so that we can take a look at what we're dealing with. A lot of ion bolt stuff, so we can knock out our systems, but hopefully, I mean, maybe it works like ion in FTL, where it will knock out shields pretty quickly. I'm not sure, but what we'll do is you know what, we'll target the reactor, because the reactor's right behind these. If we hit that, then it'll blow up all remaining ones, whatever happen to still exist. And we will go in for the kill, hopefully. Let's get a view of both of them as we approach. And there's the beam! It is a massive laser! We are firing the power laser. Oh, they have actually knocked out everything. Oh, this could go wrong, actually. We're not really firing much right now. They are completely ionizing all our systems. Well, this went wrong very quickly. Crap. They're firing too quick for us to... Oh, they're about to blow up the prow beam thing. This is problematic. We're not doing much to them. Well, apparently, we've met our weakness. They've managed to knock out all our systems pretty sharpish. We possibly need to run away. Whoops. Let's stay focused. We can see our ship up in the corner there. I said focus. There we go. Yeah, we're not doing much damage, and I think they've just blown up the ion beam. Well, that was a good start, wasn't it? We've knocked out one. Probably doesn't achieve much. We can knock out a second, maybe. We're also getting the reactor, so that'd be nice. Oh, he's spinning. He's trying to show us a side that is better protected. Our shields... Well, our one remaining shield has managed to regenerate a bit. Oh, dear. This has gone wrong rapidly. Let's target this, because it is a little bit damaged. Whoops. Gotta make sure I'm still tracking it so we can see what's going on. Not good. Nope, spinning around again. Retarget to this one. Get him dealt with. Come on, shoot it! We're barely getting any shots off because they just keep ionizing us. There we go. Oh, this guy's nearly dead. At least they're doing damage very slowly because of their crappy weaponry. I'm just going to keep targeting this. We want to get that dealt with. And they can only shoot us with one at once at best. Actually, I guess you can shoot with both. Target this one. Finish it. Oh, that's not good. Oh, they're starting to hit the reactor now. That is very bad. Keep firing. Right, that's that dealt with. You know what? Just target the reactor. It's mostly destroyed, so we can get that sorted. There we go. Chain reaction. It blew up the other one as well. That blew up the remainder of the ship. But we did take a fair bit of damage there. That was not good. We don't count as that. There we go. We're now out of combat. Oh, that's expensive. That's definitely more than we got as a bounty. But there we go, we've repaired it. And clearly, we need to do some work on this. But that is all we'll do for today. Next episode, we'll improve the offensive capabilities of this, because I guess putting all our eggs in one very big, awesome basket is not the best way of doing it. We should add more side weaponry and stuff like that. Backup guns on the side, maybe, or something like that. And then we'll continue trying to clear out this particular sector and go from there. And of course, if you want to come up with a fancy name for this thing, then by all means do so in the comments. And of course, the game is it's free. You can just go get it. Link in the description. You can actually just get it for free right now. For some reason. Sure. And with that, I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.